Hello everybody, welcome to another week of trading at f45trading.com. Discussing this week for January 21st to the 25th, looking at market structure and price action for the week ahead of us. Keep in mind today, being Monday, is a bank holiday, U.S. bank holiday, so the majority of the U.S. traded currency baskets are suspended until trading resumes later this evening during the Asian session after about 5 p.m. New York time. And as I'll just bring over the calendar here so you guys can take a quick peek at what we're looking at for the week. We've got Tuesday, so Monday, obviously, not much happening. We do have later on, we had Prime Minister May speaking with the pound sterling, and then we've got on Tuesday, one major pound sterling news event for the cable, and then the euro. We've got German ZEW economic statements, some Canadian dollar news, some yen news. This yen news is going to be probably fairly volatile, so you should probably see the US dollar yen cross will probably bounce fairly significantly, so just keep an eye out on that. And right now it is saying tentative, so I'm not sure the time that's going to be released, so just keep an eye on that. If you are trading the yen, maybe just hold off until this all gets sorted out, squared away, and then the numbers are in. And then again on Wednesday there's a press conference for the yen as well, so could see a little volatility on that pair going forward. Going into Wednesday, we've got some Canadian dollar news, high impact and medium impact news event for core retail sales numbers, and then we've got the employment and unemployment rates for the Australian dollar on Wednesday. And then we wrap up the week Thursday with a whole smattering of euro news, with a couple of high impact news events later on, New York Open. So keep in mind those ones, but we should see the euro move quite a bit on Thursday. And then Friday, of course, we've got a little bit more news, medium impact news events that shouldn't do too much, but all in all, a pretty decent calendar. Again, some volatility on the yen, so careful on that. It's early out on the week here, and then the rest of the week should play out fairly nicely again with that nice euro news coming in on Thursday. So going into the charts real quickly, the US dollar, we've obviously hit a bit of a reversal last week. I was looking for a continuation lower to see if we can get price to run underneath this low right here. And actually, if you take a look at the weekly chart, you can see price reversed right back in this small consolidation level right here, where we had price run down, run back up, run down, ran back up, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles right in here. We saw a nice reversal right at that level there. I would anticipate this week to probably continue higher, as you see, and I'll just remove the day dividers here so you can see a big wick on this last week's candle here, and price rejected, failed to get lower than this low here, so we had a nice failure swing. In the confirmation this week right out of the gate, we see price very strong bullish activity. So I think we're probably going to end up going higher on this pair. Now just keep in mind, when I say that, you got to look as well to exactly where we are. And if you look, I kind of shaded it in here. We're right in the middle of this heavily traded consolidation range, where price really bounces, left, right, up, down, sideways. It's all over the place, and we're seeing a little more of that in here. A lot of wicking going on in here and in here, and again in here that we just saw last week. So anything is possible. We could run lower, we could run higher. I'm still not discounting that this thing isn't going to run below and sweep below these lows here under 93. But with this big wick in here last week, and then again on the weekly at where we bounced back at this consolidation range back in here, I think there is a good chance we could see price running a little bit higher, at least for the short term anyway. We'll see if they want to stretch price above these highs up in here, and maybe even stretch up into the $98 range and potentially the $99.50 range going forward. So we'll just sort of watch and see how that plays out for this week. But again, with the U.S. bank holiday, obviously we got a little bit of a pop on the market here today. Everything ceased trading until the end of the day, and then we'll resume back with the regular scheduled trading for tomorrow, for Tuesday. So So far, some a nice bullish action rate out of the gate. I would like to see if we could see Tuesday open up but fail to get really any lower than these ranges right in here. I don't really want to see price come much lower than these lows here going into Tuesday. I'd like to see price come down a little bit, rebalance back down here, and then potentially get a pop. And then maybe we can look and see if we can get a runner and see if we can see price press higher for this week and potentially get above these old highs in here. So we'll keep an eye on that. However, if price does want to come any lower, then you see this 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern candles right in here. If price wants to get and starts coming all the way back down to here and loses these lows here, I'm not going to be so bullish on this market. So that's sort of where I'm going to set my line for this week anyway. If we see price remain above 52.25, we should see it continue higher and see if we can't stretch again for these highs up in here. So if we flip over real quick to the Euro USD, again, you can see that same rundown on the Euro, much lower. We've got a number of lows under here that would be right for the picking if the US dollar continues to remain bullish. I'll just identify a couple of these on the charts here, and you can sort of see what I'm driving at. So, and then these two equal lows here. Those would be some nice targets to the downside if we do see a run lower on the Euro USD. So far, price has been falling off quite steadily after it hit this high of 115. And I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago, saying that I was anticipating price running above into the 115s and then rejecting, and reject it did. We saw a very, very nice rundown. So far, it's in the 200 pip range. And again, Monday opening up, tried to get higher in here after, and we're in a bit of a small, 3-panel candle consolidation as well too. Price tried to get into it again today, tried to get in higher, but fell short of that. I would anticipate again price to start to fall over and at least start looking at taking out this low. If we can take this low out here, I would assume they'll probably all start falling like dominoes, and we'll probably see the downside start to get picked up here. One after the other. So we'll just put some price tags on that. 1300 and 1260. You could even say about 1250, a run below. Could be a good target for the week. Nice 150 pip range. So just sort of watch for that. Pound dollar. Again, this is experiencing the exact opposite of what the Euro USD is doing, which if the US dollar is running higher, we should see both of these running down. So you can see the how this is decoupled pretty much from what the US dollar is doing. It's kind of doing whatever it wants to do. And I wouldn't anticipate this thing going any lower anytime soon. So, but again, price is pretty volatile. Like I say, if we break price lower here, I would assume that we're probably going to continue higher. But look at these wicks. Just be careful. This price or this basket is really starting to get a little finicky. I was just doing a little research on the Brexit vote over there in the UK. I mean, it's back, it's forth, it's there's MPs and the Prime Minister. I mean, they're all at each other right now trying to get this Brexit thing done, and different variations and combinations of it. So it's going to throw volatility in this pair constantly. There's another vote set for next week, just after the vote they just had last week, and I mean, it's just going to go on and on and on. So just keep that in mind as we do approach this Brexit date here, which is set for the spring. Just keep in mind we're probably going to continue to see bouts of volatility like this. So keep your stops tight, keep your liquidity low on this pair, and just be cautious with it. But I would anticipate that this level of price run-up is going to continue, and you see how ugly this price trading is here. I mean, it's moving forward. It's definitely moving higher, you know, but look at the volatility and the big wicks that these days are creating in here. I don't anticipate seeing this changing at all. I would assume that this is probably going to continue. But with that being said, like I mentioned here, if we have 127 even down to 127.50, if price starts to want to run down into there, I'd be a little bit concerned. We may see price even do something like this, where it just wants to come stab down, sweep all of the liquidity below the market, and take everyone offside again. But I think that there's a real good chance that we could see price running higher. Okay. And I'm not necessarily trading this pair either this week. I'd like to see if we can't get a little normalcy to it and a little more fluid price action. But I would anticipate for the upside, if price did want to stretch its legs, that we could easily see price run up to the 31, even the 38. 13200 level on the upside as a potential target. And I'm not saying it's going to get up there, but that would be the next logical high that I think would get breached, and that's just right above this high right here to the upside if they decided to take price up there. So it could be a good range. That's actually, I'll tell you, that's from current location. That'd be about a 300 pip run up to there. So again, not saying it's going to get there this week, if at all, but that could be a potential target on the upside if we maintain price above this 127 level. Okay. Euro GBP had a big run down here. Again, as I said in my commentary from last week, I was expecting this. If you got into my recorded session last Sunday, I mentioned I was anticipating price falling off, tagging back up off of these lows in here, and you can see, sorry, not those lows, those highs in there, and you can see it's exactly what price did. Came down, rejected. We had a nice big candle up here today, and it rejected. So little bit of indecision happening. If price is going to continue lower, it'll start breaking into this level here. But I think we had a nice rejection here, so we'll probably see price want to start to run back higher. But if we can't get above this red line here, then what I could anticipate happening is something like this happening, and price just sort of runs higher to get into a failure swing, and we see a bit of a head and shoulders pattern forming. This being one shoulder, the head up into here, and then again another short potential shoulder forming, and then price running off if it fails to get above this red line here. So that's what we could potentially look at. If we start trading above that red line quite aggressively, then we could see price wanting to run these highs here. But just watch this and keep this in mind here. Obviously, this high here was just swept right there at the start of this month here. So we could see price wanting to fall lower on Euro GBP. So just sort of keep that one in mind, okay? US CAD, last week had a rate decision. We saw the price build up into that. If we get the US dollar pushing higher, we should see the same correlation and same push higher on the US CAD pair as well. So I would be anticipating them to run back up to here. Now, where they're going to go once they get back into this consolidation area up here, we'll have to wait until that one gets panned out, or until that one plays out, to see how much strength they want to put in there. If you see the US dollar starting to run above these equal highs up into here, then we could very well see a big push to get up above these same equal highs in here. So we'll watch for that. But we did have a big sell-off on the US CAD, and really we needed a bit of a cooling off. This pair had seen a nice extended run since September of last year. And to be honest with you, this collapse down here, I think was overdue. So it's nice to see. We'll see if it wants to continue, though. If the U.S. dollar does get strength, again, keep in mind it could pull this up. But if that U.S. dollar does falter or fail, we will see this easily fall to the downside and continue lower. So just keep that in mind. But I do like the price action on it. I don't really like the price action on it so far. It's very choppy. Very sideways, but we did just come out of a massive extended range, so a period of tight consolidation would be warranted. So we'll just have to wait and see how this one plays out and see if they want to come back down. I'd be inclined to see if basically I wouldn't want to be buying this thing. If we broke these lows in here, I wouldn't be looking at getting any any long ideas. But if we can stay in this pattern here and we really fail to break lower than these two lows right there, then next time price wants to retrade a little bit lower, falling short of going under this line here, I might be inclined at looking at taking some longs in here and potentially seeing if we can get a run up. But that, again, only would be if we see this continued push higher on the US dollar. Okay. UJ. I'm on 1 hour. Let's go to a daily. Big rejection on the UJ on the daily, ran all the way down, cleared all of the sell stops under the market action from earlier on previously in 2018, rejected, and now we're pushing to the upside. Same type of idea as the US dollar. If that continues to rise higher, we should see the yen pair start to follow suit. Now, I really want to see price get above this consolidation area right in here. So I'm going to be watching this. I would imagine we'll probably stretch for it up into here this week. And really, we could probably look at buying any lows that's formed on the pair this week. Don't really want to see price go much lower than here. I would think that would be my line in the sand. If price wanted to come into here, we'll probably want to retrade back down and potentially retest the highs in this consolidation range. So as long as we can stay above this level here, then I think there's a real good chance that price could continue higher. So about the 109.20 level. It'd be great if we could see price trade down into the Asian range this evening and see some rejection happen right around this level here, 109.20 to 109.30, and potentially see a bounce, and then I'd like to see that bounce up into this guy here. And that could be a bounce for about 100 pips for the week. So if you are a yen trader, you can certainly look into that. Okay, last one here, crude oil. Quickly, I just, looking at this, we've had such a nice big bullish run. We had price consolidate. So again, price is just running from consolidation to consolidation. I don't really see anything in this pair or in this commodity that's going to send this thing lower. I did have an idea earlier on in the year that I wanted to see price rebalance down here. Obviously, price isn't going to do that. It's just going to keep cascading higher. But what I would like to see, we did have some nice bullish activity on Friday, and then you can see Monday's candle right here. What I would like to see is them come back off of this high a little bit and potentially retest these old highs in this consolidation range, sort of a breakout retest strategy, and see if we can't get something like that to occur. So we'll watch for that, but I think what ultimately overall, I think price on crude oil is going to continue to run higher, and I mean, eventually we're going to start running above these old highs in here at 57, and we'll probably get up into even the 58 to 60 range on crude oil in the short term, probably before, well, maybe not before the end of the month, but definitely into February. I think we're going to see bullish activity continuing. And again, this falls right in line with the seasonality of crude oil. I discussed this with some of our members in the some recorded sessions that I did over December. We're going to see bullish activity in crude oil, and that's sure enough exactly what we've seen. We had a number of straight up days, about a week of consolidation, and now last week we finally broke out of that. So if we see any return back down, I'd be looking for something like this to happen. Probably not even that deep. We may only come back down to this last tiny little consolidation level right in here. Put a price tag on that so you can get an idea on it. But if something like that does occur, if price wants to come back down and recheck up on this $53 level, I'd probably be inclined to get into some longs and see where it could take us. Now, on the downside, if we break this level in here, or if we want to trade back down to 51.50, I'd be careful on that. We may see a bit of a push lower on this run here. So just keep that in mind. There are some relatively equal lows down here and some areas back in here that I was looking at last week to see if they wanted to get back down to. Unfortunately, like I say, this run up here 2 weeks ago, I was looking early in the week for price to get a little bit lower, but we couldn't get that, unfortunately, and then you saw price just explode back up to the upside. So that's where we're at with crude oil. Again, looking for longs here to continue, and if any type of retracement happens down that 53 level, I'll be looking very closely at it. So again, we'll be giving this all out to our members and letting them know when these setups are occurring. If you are just watching this in the public for free, you can continue to do so. I'll leave these weekly free forecasts on our YouTube channel for you to check out. But if you want detailed live trading analysis done every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for the markets for several pairs, commodities and S&P 500, gold, all that fun stuff, then you'll definitely want to check out f45trading.com and see what your options are over there. Here's a website info for you here. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you have a great week of trading. We'll catch up to you later.